Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me. Well, it has been said that the great nations have immoral thoughts and religious acts. Underdeveloped nations have religious thoughts and immoral acts. And all the nations need to be infected by the immoral thought, which is that noble pain, the pain of the prophets and philosophers. And all those who refuse the universe dullness, civilization is considered in every society as the physical and spiritual identity for it, because it carries between the folds of their meanings many great attributes and factors that distinguish them from other civilizations. However, the general concept is not much different because it covers the whole concept of civilization facilities, which is the sap of human minds of all humanity. And what produced throughout history, ever since man was found on this earth, the concept of cultural integration, which refers to a specific interaction between multiple and varying cultural backgrounds groups, presently to keep them away from the conflicts and wars, to entrench instead a state of peace that would enable everyone to face the problems effectively. The desired integration in this selection community to begin a new different phase under the conditions of stability and peace, cultural community to begin a new different phase under the conditions of stability and peace. Cultural integration depends on relations through three overlapping basic methods that are the establishment of a network of communications to promote friendly ties and collective spirits, and useful of integration at the international level, and peaceful cooperation, which distracted the idea of wars and conflicts from participants' minds. First, relations between the East and West was going back to the days of the Canaanites, where it held a commercial character. The coastal cities of Canaanites evaluate the commercial and cultural relations, as well as the affinity with the Greeks' relations. It has been expression of such peaceful relations, altogether sometimes violent in the Al-Homeri stories and the legends, such as those that talked about the kidnapping of Europe, the daughter of the king Tyre, by Zeus, the great god of Greeks, or those that recounted the story of Cadmos, son of King Tyre, who went to Greece in search of his sister, and he took advantage of his trip to spread the alphabet. At the level of the Arabic-Greek relations, the oldest of its name from the Greek is Alexander the Great, 356 BC, having founded the strong empire, vast quarters with ports on the Red Sea and the Arabian Gulf. And after he has prevailed on Egypt and the Fertile Crescent to thought about occupying the Arabian peninsula. So he sent on exploratory missions investigating the information necessary to send a large fleet on the coast of the island. And Jawad al-Ali saw in his book the joint in a history of the Arabs that conquests of Alexander the Great, which allowed the Greeks to expand into a large area of Asia. And he said that it were not only a political event, it's a chapter of the book of human history. We read the news confluence of Eastern and Western world face to face over large areas in the globe, and the tendency of the West in control of the East, and the impact of civilizations and cultures to each other. And for the Greeks and Romans scientists, the knowledge directly on the situation of nations as they heard the news of the mouth of traders and tourists, navigators, and Alexandria and some cities in the Levant became the crossroads of Eastern and Western cultures. The opening of Alexander the Great in Egypt has changed the face of general history and the history of the Nile Valley in particular. It was built on the banks of the Nile for the first time. The kingdom Hala, destined to be more powerful kingdoms, stable and well established, and the founding of Alexandria revolutionized the ancient trade routes, create a path that combines three continents and covers in Egypt, while the Greeks were looking to East, viewed with contempt, regard them as the degrees of slaves. Alexander the Great, with his new mentality, tried to fill the gap between the Hellenic East and barbaric, because it was designed to create a marriage between East and West on the basis of harmony and peace, and on the basis that governs the elements equally, throwing Greeks racism and denounce the extreme Macedonians from his sympathy with the Easterners. This resulted in friction and communicate between the East and West, where the spread of the Greek philosophy in the cities of the East. In contrast, the Greeks impressed gods and worshipped it, which is confirmed by Durant in the story of civilizations, saying, in short, Greece offered on the middle philosophy, and that middle display on Greece is the religion, which had the upper hand, because the philosophy was a luxury offer and a minority measure, but religion was for many. The mystery of the world we still all eyes missed of deception. The independent world who are tired of war and mystery, and the mystery of this world to return to faith and hope, and had a deeper impact. Alexander's victories, the result is far from the minds, namely European spirit of East sympathetically, pointing to the importance of science museums, which reflects the cultures of the community and display of creativity in the Lord of the universe and human capacity left by the former in various fields of science. The museum is not a depository of memories and moments, but also a source of inspiration and thinking, creativity, research, and knowledge for the development of the present, and build the future. Museums are at the beginning of its inception, linked to ancient universities, and still an integral part of its success, progress, and advancements. This mismatch grew out of studies and scientific research and developed in all areas. That it's now the scientific centers that promote culture of education with entertainment to the public, education and application for researchers and specialist, embracing all human intellectual efforts through the ages, which are the basic rules for all inventions that we see today, because it's the home of inspiration for the creators and inventors. Now, for the Hope School, from 9 months ago, me and a small group of refugees in the port of Piraeus in Athens, we decided to build a small project despite of the unbearable conditions that we lived in, cold weather and living in tents. We tried at the beginning to volunteer in many voluntarily works, but then when we saw the people suffering all the time, we have decided to build a new initiative and the project from the refugees as an educational program. In the streets, in a small tent, we have received almost 50 kids in Piraeus port. And we started by teaching them basic English. Then we had to move to Skaramagkaas camp, which is almost 20 kilometers apart from the center of Athens. We start gathering information and registering kids. That's when we found out that we have almost 700 kids from the age 5 to 13. So we start asking for help. And in Skaramagkaas camp, we have 3 different nationalities, 4 different cultures, 3 different languages. So after registering, we received 2 classrooms. Then we start putting a timetable, which includes 3 main subjects, the mother tongue, and by mother tongue I mean Arabic and Farsi and Kurdish, and math and English. And we do teach the kids in their own mother tongue from teachers from the community, from the camp, and they are all residents of the camps with university studies. And we have added to these subjects arts and music. We have added to these subjects arts and music, and we are planning to add more technologies and computer science. So after almost, from now, 10 months, we have gained experience, and we would love. Also, the school materials comes all from donations, and while the book that we are using is the same curriculum that we had in Syria, so and that gives to our school the idea of consistency and normality. We wish to be integrated inside the community and the society, and having the same rights as well as the obligations like everyone else. We don't seek for a special treatment. We only seek a chance to live in peace, building our lives on our strengths. Thank you.